All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for yet another amazing episode of the First Days of LXSE podcast. Here, we're all about telling the amazing stories of our learners, alumni, recent graduates, and all the amazing things that they are doing across the African continent. My name is Joy Otieno, the Afro Optimist, and I'm your host. Today, I'm joined by somebody whom I will describe as our valedictorian from Cohort 9. She graduated top of the class. And she impressed all our mentors all around, which is amazing. That never happens in the program. So what really made Amarachi stand out? Is she a genius? Is she a geek? Is she a special breed? We are going to hear from her in a minute. Hi, Amarachi, how are you?
Hello, Joy. How are you doing? And I'm fine. Well, okay, sorry, I didn't get that question.
Yeah, go on. Tell us a little about yourself. Who is Amarachi? What are your interests? Have you always wanted to be in tech? Yeah.
Oh, Amarachi is, how do I put it? She's a boring young woman that prefers to stay indoors and read or be on her system all day long. Okay, I don't usually tell people this, but don't laugh at me when I tell you this. I have Netflix and DSTV at home, and I don't know how to turn them on. Like, I know how to turn on the TV, but don't even ask me.
I know. You are not alone. I'm also in the struggle of digital TVs. My goodness, they're crazy.
I don't know how to turn them on. I know I have family members be like, oh, when they come out, oh, let me just subscribe, they're around. So, they could watch something. But I remember a day, and my mom, growing up, my mom was also terrible with the TV. She would be like, my friend, come here and turn on CNN for me and stuff like that. Sometimes I look back and then I'll get so angry. Why can't you just turn on CNN or turn on the TV? You can't just learn it. Don't even know how to turn on the volume or turn it down. And I'm like, your mom, what? It just becomes But I would say I find solace in studying online, learning how to code, how to, troubleshoot and stuff like that. I could do it all day long. I enjoy it, perhaps because it's pretty practical. You could just do something and then you see the end result. If it's working, if it's not working, I find it very, very fascinating. Now, I wasn't totally new to tech. No, when I joined ELX, that's the truth. I was already working in a tech environment, a software development company. So I've heard so much about ELX. Like I've heard so much about it. And honestly, believe me, that was not the first time I was applying. I had applied before and they were like, come in, and I never even made any attempt. Like I didn't even do anything about it. I didn't even try to attend any class. But along the way, I just made up my mind. I say, hey, I'm going to do it. And I guess that's one of my best, some people call it fault. Some people say it's an advantage. I can be really obsessed about what I want to do. Like, I want to do it. I don't care it's going to happen. And that was exactly the spirit I went into ALX with. I went in with so much fascination and so much interest, like I'm so going to kill this one. Of course, I didn't know I was going to graduate top of the class. I've had horror stories about ALX, and I don't like. I know 1,001 persons who tried on, falling along the way, like, oh no, I can't do this, it's too much. I've had so many horror stories. In fact, before I graduated, I had never known any single person who has graduated from ALX, honestly. It was like, yeah, some people graduate, but it's like they're ghosts. You never see them. You never hear about them. Stuff like that until I joined in. And then I would say I wore ALX like a plot when I got in. Like everybody who knew me knew I was involved in ALX software engineering program. And I was proud of it. Because when I really started my tech journey, my first real exposure to anything, internship or stuff like that was when I did internship in 2020, I'll be 2029. Sorry, so 2019. Yeah, I think 2019. That's 2019 or 2020. I got involved HND I7. So I didn't make it. I stopped at stage 7. At the stage. But that kind of lit a spark in me, like that just refused to die. And I got really interested Then I started doing one or two things with She Could Africa, but it was purely, what's the word? It was purely volunteer kind of thing. So along the way, it exposed me more to women in tech, and young girls in tech, and so many tech communities. Like I joined so many tech communities, I couldn't even catch up. Like it gave me that, will I say, community, the backbone to ask questions when you have technical issues and stuff like that. And that is a huge advantage that people don't know, because no matter what, you don't know it all. There's always somebody who knows better than you somewhere.
Exactly.
And the more communities you join, the more the possibility of you meeting someone that can help you solve that problem. And honestly, that was one of my secrets. Okay. And when I joined ALX, I continued that way. I was happy to be with people I could teach, as long as you have something to offer. Like, oh, you just, it goes, I'm happy with a give and take relationship. I don't have any issues with that. That's what life should be about. Okay.
Yep.
So, of course, with that frustration, ALX, of course, plenty, lots and lots of them. If I start, I don't even want to discourage people. I don't discourage people. I don't discourage people at all. But one of the frustrations comes with partnership, and that is still a frustration to date. And it wasn't just for me, because I also acted as a technical, as an ambassador, as the learning ambassador with them.
Ambassador.
Yeah. I also applied, and I was the learning ambassador for cohort 14, 16, and 17 before I graduated. And everybody was complaining about partner. Some people will be like, yeah, I'm good, I'm this and that. And then when you get involved with them, you feel sorry for yourself. And probably by the time you realize what you gotten yourself involved in, there is no time, because
and I think you are raising an important point about peer and partnering. And I think a lot of people, that's where they probably even fall out, because a lot of projects require you to partner up. What are the strategies? Like, how did you go about identifying who is good and who is not? Like, I'm not gonna waste my time here. Let me just jump ship and find that. What are some of the strategies you can share of identifying, a good partner?
Okay. First of all, when I joined ALX, I already had the foresight that I should be involved in communities. There were so many communities of learners on WhatsApp and on Telegram. Now, not all of them are going to be useful. I joined close to 5 or 6. And I can assure you that out of that 5 or 6, about maybe 2 max were useful to me. The rest were people arguing, cursing each other, cursing out, because they couldn't do it on the Slack platform, but they could do it on the WhatsApp, like
in marketing stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. So turn it to a marketing platform. So it's for you to sieve out what you don't need and stuff like that. Another thing I always did was, before I choose a partner, I would see how active the person is on the platform. What kind of questions does this person ask? Are they intelligent questions? Is this person a serious person, or is this person just looking for where to copy from? There are people who just stick around waiting for someone to finish, and then they will pop to your GitHub, just go and copy, stuff like that. I avoid them like plague, because they're gonna be, if you partner with them, it just literally be like carrying a child. You're gonna like piggyback them all the way, and that's not gonna be fun. You might as well go solo. Have less problems for yourself. So I had I always like try to pick out those people. Of course, I did make mistakes on 2 occasions, even when I thought I was so careful. On 2 occasions, I found out that people could, how do I put it? We're like shiny stones. When they say, oh, that glitters is not gold. And when it came to the redo project, I was so frustrated. And I even had one was like insisting that I would give him my GitHub personal access token. And, it was almost like he was trying to bully me. I was like, no, this is not happening. This is not happening. And I had to go as far as report the matter. Like, why are you asking for my GitHub token? Do you have sinister intentions?
You don't need it. Exactly.
Do you have sinister intentions? Just push to a branch and I will merge. What's the big damn deal? It was like, stuff like that. And you have to stand your ground. You have to be, strong in whatever you're doing, because if you're expecting not to have issues, my sister, you will have it. My brother, you will have it. Okay. And that's not all. It's not just partnership. Okay. Sometimes there are times that, so another thing I realized, even when I partner with people, is that, I hate to put it this way, but many people don't read. A lot of people do not read. And they keep asking questions that are already there. And I keep telling them, if you just bother to sit down and read these questions, you're already going to, like, most of these tasks, you already have like 50% done. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Follow through what they have recommended. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. Okay, so I was like trying to push that. Initially, I also tried to join peer learning platforms where I teach and they teach me, because when I came here, I didn't know C programming. I learned C programming on the on the program, and at first I was kind of scared because I was like, oh no, I'm not sure of this, but I had so much support because I joined the right pairs, and they always kind of supported me. And I had this guy who was very good with C, but not very good with Python, so we kind of helped each other out, during the peer learning program.
I think what I'm getting from you is when you're very intentional, then you are going to meet other intentional people. So you sort of like put yourself out there, you joined all these WhatsApps, all these Telegrams, all these PLDs, but eventually somehow the universe connives and brings your tribe to you. When you're intentional. When you're intentionally looking for people of
it's
your
very
tribe.
important to be intentional. It's very important to be intentional. Like people always ask me, what is the biggest takeaway from ALX software engineering program? I mean, this whole like 14 months, yeah. And I'm like, my biggest takeaway is grit and ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Why do I say that? I mean, people expect me to say, oh, I'm better at coding, I'm better at, because I say, no, I am better. I ain't gonna deny that. I'm better. I'm better with Linux. I'm better with GitHub. I'm better with, coding and all that. But my biggest takeaway is ability to learn, even under pressure. Yeah, ability to learn. Another thing I would say is also my biggest takeaway is time management, because I work 9 to 5. Okay. And people will be like, how do you manage it? And I'm like, come back around 5, 6. And guess what? I go to bed. I take a bath, I take my dinner, I go to bed. I know I cannot sleep more than 4 or 5 hours. I have to wake up maybe around 12 midnight. And this is Nigeria. You sometimes don't have lights. So what do? If I have to do my tax by 12 midnight, I go run the generator and do my tax. That's what I do. Yeah, I'll go run my generator and do my tax. And sometimes I end up sleeping around 4 or 5, because sometimes you keep pushing, pulling, and whatever you're doing, and nothing is working. You keep testing your code and something is missing. Sometimes is maybe permissions. Sometimes it's something else. You understand? And the checker doesn't give a hoot. If you don't do it right, the checker is going to mark you down. So you just have to make sure that you beat the deadline and that you get it right. And that made me kind of learn to run on low sleep. It's not a big deal.
And I think you just answered one of my questions. Some of the sacrifices from me hearing you talk is literally like there was no social life. You are going to work like 9 to 5, come back home, you take a shower, eat, go to bed, and then wake up at midnight, run your generator, do assignments, then again get ready, go to work. Like, what are some of those sacrifices? Because like, what are the sacrifices that you had to to do?
Okay, well, if you talk about social life, I would have got a sacrifice. I'm not very good at how to do
I know,
friends.
because you said earlier that you love just sitting indoors and troubleshooting.
So it's not for me. I wouldn't call that a sacrifice. If I'm going out there has to be an occasion, maybe somebody's birthday or stuff like that. Or if I don't show up, I'm going to have problems with this friend. So I just have to show up. Like I can count how many times I've been to club all my life, comfortably, and less than 30 seconds I could count it. I'm not that person. I'm really not that person. I love being indoors. I love being I can be on my laptop all day long. So the only people I have problem with is NEPA. This is Nigeria, so where we don't have
Nigeria.
Stuff like that. Apart from that, another sacrifice I would say I had to make is you just have to be determined. Because I remember several times I felt ill. There was even a time I was hospitalized. And I still had to, do my assignments. I still had to meet up with the deadline. I just had to. Okay. I didn't have a choice. So I would say what I tell people is fall in love with the program. And you cannot fall in love with it if you don't talk about it. Like the way I preach it to be like, are you a staff of ALX? And I start laughing. Like I think all my friends know I'm involved in it. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you see me talking about it, about my experiences, about, the first time I did a portfolio project. And by the way, people ask me, what's your favorite project? I'll be like, portfolio project. And they're like, why? I said, because it gives you the freedom to do whatever you like. you know.
Yeah.
You get the freedom. Unlike other tasks, when they give you a task, whether you know C, you don't know C, whether you know Linux, you don't know it, whether you know bash scripting, you have to submit it, or it's going to affect your scores. You have to put in something, you have to learn it. For portfolio projects, like that's it. They just release it into the wild. Just find something creative, you know.
And I would like to go. I'd like to go deeper in your portfolio project. But before we get to that, because that's like a whole different ball game. When you graduate, like when you go through the program and you come up top of the class, people will think like, okay, you're sort of like a genius or something, you know. And then now you are balancing like work 9 to 5, you know. And there are people who have like all the time, but they may not be able to do the same feat that you did. Did you have challenges? Did you have moments in the program when you doubted? You were like, wow, probably I'm going to drop out today. Or was it smooth sailing for you? Did you have moments of doubt?
Yes, because there was a time I'm like, look, I just wanted to be a developer. I just want to be a better developer. And these people are killing me with bash scripting. They're killing me with C programming. This is not what I signed up for. And I remember a friend of mine, we go way back. His name is Emmanuel Diogo. And he was like, hey, why don't you leave off all this, your idea? And besides, you're learning a lot here. You're learning systems engineering, which is very necessary. But a lot of people keep it just pop to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then maybe one other framework, you know, stuff like that. But it's good that even if you decide to be a developer, you're really grounded. You know all these things. It's very important. You know, he spoke to me at length, and he told me, look, they have a lot of support. And even if you don't, I didn't know I was going to graduate top of the class. I just, you know, he spoke to me at length, and I was like, okay. And he was like, for crying out loud, 1 year is still going to pass you by. Why don't you just use it? You know, I know you when you want to. I know you when you want to put your head down and say this is going to work. Not be you. He was like, you will do it. Calm down. I would strongly recommend. I know the irony. He dropped out. He dropped out. But after everything happened, I went to him. I told him about when I got my offer.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called. If you believe, if you have spirituality, it's called destiny helper.
Yes. Exactly. He dropped out. I didn't even know because I was just too busy with my life. I was just too busy with everything, you know, that I was just and the whole thing has made me, like I said, my biggest takeaway is ability to learn and relearn and unlearn. You know, like I want to see a project and be like, oh my God, this is so big, I'm gonna run away. No, I feel like, okay, why am I doing it? What's the purpose? What am I gonna get? Then I'm going to do it. I'm gonna kill it. There is somebody in this universe that knows it. If I don't know how to learn it, I will find somebody who will teach me. Wherever that person is, whatever it will, the person will teach me. I will torment him until he teaches me. You understand? I developed that mindset, and that was right. I would say that's a huge takeaway for me. You know, for me, irrespective of whatever it is, because no matter where you are, no matter the field, even if it's not related to tech, it's a very, very wonderful mindset. Because I look back where I've been, how far, how I have suffered. And, you know, the irony is that along the way, I had to pick up skills that were not even related. I had to learn how to use what do you call this stuff? You know, how to install Ubuntu on my Windows so that I could do the assignments. You understand? Especially, you know, sometimes the sandbox starts messing up when there's so much traffic.
When there's so many people, yeah.
Exactly. So I had to learn how to install WSL to run my projects. I had to learn how I could enable traffic in and out of my WSL so I could SSH and do so many other things in it, you know, which normally you're not supposed to do. And that involved me going out there and doing serious
over
research.
And beyond, exactly.
Exactly. You understand? Install plugins, do so many other things and all that. You know, nobody told me I had to do those things. I just wanted to do them so I could, you know, meet up with my assignments and all that. So these are skills that I picked up along the way. Okay. And when I had to use VI, I had to learn so many things about it. Like I had to go to the man, VI, tell me everything. You understand? To the manual, like I had to go through it, know how to even pimp it up, give it lines so that I could trace things when there are issues and I could easily debug. These are skills you pick up along the way. Okay. not always about the curriculum. It's about who you become when you pass through that fire and, come out on the other side. And I think the most important thing is that you look at this person that you become and you're proud of that person. I think that's the biggest plus there.
So I think the other thing people struggle with in the program is balancing learning, as you're saying, ability to learn. You want to gain as much as you can from the program, but then you have the worry of like the deadlines and the scores. So balancing those three things, you really want to learn, get as much as you can, but then you have to be cognizant of the deadlines, and then also there's a threshold. So recently it was removed, but it has been there for a long time. How did you go about that? Because people will be like, oh, is it first deadline? Is it second deadline? Is it third deadline? How do I make sure that I'm learning, but also I'm meeting the bare minimum so that I'm not kicked out of the program? How did you balance those?
Okay, like I said, it's very important to belong to associations. It's also very important to belong to communities of, different tech people and all that. It's also very important that along the way, you are very willing to give it your best. Most of the times, weekends are free, if you notice. There are a few times when projects spill into the weekends, but for the majority of the times, weekends are relatively free. These are times I take up, to read up something, okay? Especially if it's something that, spills into the next week or stuff like that, okay? Another thing I would also recommend is join peer learning groups where they do tutorials a lot. Okay. Initially, when we started, there were lots of tutorials online on how to solve all this. And even though ALX started clamping down on them, initially they didn't help us. But the good news was that along the way, we had made friends, and then you would always meet somebody, for instance, who's good at, let's say, bash scripting is your issue, and the person can put you through, kind of talk you into learning how to do it and stuff like that. We would always meet somebody. And one thing I always like to do is when I join a group of community of persons, I like to be sure that there are people who know what I do not know, who have skills that I do not have. Like I remember when I told you I was struggling with C, and I joined groups where I had people who were good with C programming, and they could put me through whenever I had issues. But apart from that, something that really, really helped me was my ability to read the tutorials that were recommended there and to read instructions. Yes, it's very important. It's very important to read instructions. I see a lot of people who probably think they are good, but they did not go far because they were not good at reading instructions. So they always made one silly mistake or another, which they did not need to make. I always tell people, try to read instructions. It helps a lot. There's a reason there. It's not because they had too much time on their hands. Try and read it. Like sometimes somebody will be like, how did you get this? I'll be like, dog, it's there. It's like, where? Did you even bother to read? I always ask that question. Did you bother to read? I mean, if you're struggling with something, is that the more reason why you should read it? If something looks strange to you, like buying like a new gadget.
I think people operate in the program. People operate sort of like they want to go into the task. Then when it's hard, that's when they want to go back to the resources.
Exactly.
The other way around.
Exactly. That's just the mindset. And I was like, I always ask people, if you buy a new gadget, you don't know so much about it, but it looks like a phone. I wouldn't jump in and say it's a phone. I'll look for the gadget. I'll look for the manual and be like, okay, let me go through. Let me read first, second, third page. Like, oh, sounds like a regular, maybe Samsung phone. Or maybe let me fiddle with it and see. I don't do that, That's the kind of person that I like to read manual. I like to read instructions that way because it saves me a lot of trouble. It does save me a lot of trouble.
Did you ever worry about your scores? Like, we know we say 200%, there's 100%, and then there's like 80, 70%, which is like the bare minimum for you to proceed. I think we have grown up in the African society where grades and scores are so over glamorized. It's sort of like, when we talk about top 5, it's sort of like those who got like 90% and above. It's not those who have gained the most. It's not skills based as such. You understand? It's not skills based. It's more about score based. Did you ever worry about that? And how did you go about, like just really balancing it out? You are really gaining the knowledge, but also your scores are great.
Yeah, the scores are important. Let me not lie to you. And I did worry about it. I did take a look. I always took a look, to know how it's affected after each score, stuff like that. I did watch over that score like a hawk. I ain't gonna lie. Okay.
I like the honesty.
I did. And I knew always that the most important way to maintain that score was to do your assignments on time. You understand? And to, as much as possible, get it. And what you're not getting, you research. And throughout this period, ChatGPT, I really use ChatGPT a lot to debug and to do all those when I had issues.
Did you use Stack Overflow?
Of course. Of course. And another thing I always did was if I had if I have any issues, okay, like if I go through a project and I had issues and I had so many things that I went through, like this was particularly difficult, I tried to write about it. Like I write on Medium, okay, I write on Medium. I have some articles I've written on Medium, and it includes my experience in ALX, and my tech journey in general. So I try to write that, and I try to talk about, the errors and the issues and how I resolve them and stuff like that. Why? Because just in case I have to find myself at that crossroad again, I could always refer back to those articles. Of course, when I read on ALX, kind of made me write more, in all honesty. It brought out the writer. It made me write more. I'm going to be honest with you. I always wanted to write, but it was my own way of checking myself up, looking back and say, okay, this is what I went through, this is how I went through it, stuff like that. It really helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. And along the way, I had to learn how to use so many Stack Overflow, ChatGPT for debugging, and even other plugins like Merlin, that would help ChatGPT. ChatGPT normally does not use the internet to do its search. It's uses, but with plugins like Merlin attached to it, also uses the internet. And it scars the internet to get you a more accurate information, especially if you're using the free version like the rest of us are not willing to pay. You understand? So I learned all those things because I was looking for tools to make my journey, easier and more, would I say, more of what I want, to, make my journey not just easier, but more effective. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for, make it more effective and something I could look up to. For me, I was trying to be a the best version of myself I could possibly be. And I was always proud to talk about it. I was always happy to take on challenges. When they say, hey, we need technical learning ambassadors, I'm like, I'm here, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was very happy to do it. I was always very happy to be there and put in my own weight. Of course, along the way, combining that with the whole challenges of ALX came into the whole, became an issue, became a challenge. And along the way, I wouldn't say I had to pick one, but along the way, I just had to drop off, because I really, really needed to be there. But one thing I always tell people is you have to fall in love with ALX and not just see it like, like I just do it now. Then they say, you understand? Yeah. It's a mindset. Yeah. It's very important. You have to fall in love with what you're doing. There is nobody who is close to me who did not know I was doing ALX, and I was not shy to say it. Okay, I was not shy to say it at all. I would go for talk shows, maybe to represent She Code Africa, and I'll still go there and talk about ALX, talk about my challenges. Trying to inspire the. I remember I went to Now University one particular day, and I was supposed to talk about inspire, university students who, want to take up, go into the tech world when they step out of university. And I spoke to them about grit, I spoke to them about persistence, and I started talking about my journey in ALX. And I told them, see. Another thing you have to know is that it's very good to ask the right questions. Ask intelligent questions. Sometimes someone is not willing to answer you, not because the person is rude, but the person feels like you have not done your own part. Okay, exactly. Just like you come to me and I don't know, you're trying to solve a problem and you have not even bothered to understand the problem, talk more of how to solve it. It's easier for you to maybe come say, hey, look, this is where I got to, this is what I was able to do, but I was stuck here because I couldn't understand this bug, I couldn't, get through this, stuff like that. I will not naturally take you more seriously. Like, okay, you have done something. It's just like you're stuck here. And maybe perhaps during my time, I didn't even go this far, stuff like that. And then I'm like, naturally, I'd be more willing to help out, okay? Than if you just come to me, my sandbox is not working. When is your sandbox is not working? What's that? You understand? It's not like you're using the sandbox and went off. You're using the sandbox, or it's not giving you what you want, or Betty is dealing with you, as it got to a point we're calling her Madam Betty. You understand? We're calling her Madam Betty. Auntie Betty, serious auntie. It's a difference. You say, I don't know. Madam Betty is dealing with me. Oh, I thought my code is in order. I tried executing it, it's working, but when they got to Madam Betty, she say no work. Then I understand that maybe there are one or two syntaxes.
At least you're putting the work, you're trying to write the code, you're trying to run
okay, let me see your code. Let me see that, let's see what we can do. But you just come to me, it's not working. I don't understand.
That is hard, oh, I don't know how to start.
You know, some people will say, I'm tired, I've destroyed my sandbox. I say, what sandbox do you when they destroy them? Where is this coming from? You know, did they ask you to destroy your sandbox? Some things, and sometimes some people are like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need this. And maybe you have like 13 more persons chatting you up, disturbing you, and somebody telling you, you did do. You look at the other ones who seem to be making sense, and I attend to them. It's totally normal. So I always tell them, it's good that you learn to ask the right question. It's good that you tend to come at somebody who is serious, has tried to put in, or has even tried to research, at least research on that very thing. I say, okay, this is the problem. This is what, I was not able to get this. I got this part so far, but I couldn't get this. The person will naturally take you seriously. That's how it works. Okay. So like I always tell people, I think some people just are there for, okay, I'm in ALX, or okay, so that I get a certificate, or okay, they don't see it as a journey. They don't see it as
free. So
they're not in it. They're not in love with the journey. The journey is actually what gives you the transformation.
And I think I like where you started. You said it was not your first time applying. It's just that at the first instances, the push and the seriousness and the passion, you're not falling in love. But the final time you decided to come back, you're like, you know what, I'm going to wear it as a cloth. I'm going to go with it everywhere. I'm going to feel like my everything. And I think that's
I started preaching like a gospel. Like,
I think that's what made the difference. And that one brings me to my next question. You also built an amazing portfolio project, and I think, again, it blew all our mentors away, and they're super impressed about it. So probably you can tell us just a little about it, because a lot of the time when people reach the specialization project, it's like they are so tired, the program has battered them so much, they're just like, you know what, I'm going to save myself so much wahala. I'm just going to make a YouTube clone or a Facebook clone, or I'm going to clone something. So take us through like your project, your portfolio project. What was the idea behind it?
Okay, the truth of the matter is that the truth behind it, if you notice, all my portfolio projects have a story attached to them. I have tried out my hands on entrepreneurship and I have failed woefully. And these are, and I'll tell you, they are my inspiration. Okay, I struggle to find a good invoice maker for my services as a freelancer. Most of them are always like, after 30 days, that's it. Or there's always one, you have to pay money, or stuff like that. So I wanted to do something scalable, something customizable, or something that somebody can just take up as a plugin and put it anywhere, and it will work very well with, say, being an e-commerce, or of course, I didn't really fully develop it according to what I have in mind, because I had limited time. Okay. And there were confines to what I could do. And of course, it's the more you make it robust, the more complicated it gets. So I had to stay simple as much as possible. So I remember there was a time I really, really struggled to find an invoice maker. Of course, most people will be like, just use Excel to make an invoice, but no offense, they're not very lovely, okay? And they're not too customizable. They are customizable in terms of the content, but what about the templates and stuff like that? So I struggled with that. And there was an invoice maker I downloaded on my phone then, which was great, but it expires after 30 days unless you want to pay, stuff like that. And that was not the first. I've tried other ones in the past. And I just wanted something basic, to address that part of me that was not satisfied, if I'm going to be honest. It was more or less like a selfish kind of thing that inspired it. Would you call it selfish? Well, I wouldn't put it that way. I would say maybe not really selfish, but it was based on my experience and based on my challenges that I kind of developed that. That's the truth. That was what inspired that. Then the other portfolio project I did, that was way back then, was on, it was a chatbot. that speaks pidgin. And the real reason behind it is that actually a lot of chatbots.
Let me ask you, Amarachi, you created more than one portfolio project.
We actually get to do 2 portfolio projects in ALX. There's the first one, and then there's the final portfolio project. Yeah. So the first one was an AI, chatbot, and it speaks pidgin, and I had to train and retrain the AI, to speak pidgin and to feed it, different things. And it was kind of funny because then I made the AI say silly things that were very local to the Nigerian market. But I mean, be like, bros, how far? Be like, I'm fine. The AI be like, you be like, when you talk to the AI, say, how far? And I go tell you, a full ground. Bros, how you day? And, is that asking? And we kind of created a funny environment where the chatbot, the chatbot, guy, what you get? I be like, I get shit, man. I get a Google. You want shark? Stuff like that, saying silly things. It was funny, actually, but I enjoyed it because I had never seen anything like that. All the chatbots I see, I'm like, as serious as bankers. It was like, what you remember when they wear suits, and I wanted something local, something, like sounded real, like what you get out there in the street.
Exactly. You can put it on your portfolio and say, yo, I built something.
Oh yeah, I did that. I even linked it it's on my LinkedIn. I talked about it, and I even wrote an article about it on my Medium, on Medium, I talked about it, links and all that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you work on it alone or did you work on it with a team?
Well, the truth of the matter is that during the early stages, no, I didn't work on it alone, honestly. During the early stage, but along the way, my partner took ill, so I just had to be on top of the game. I didn't have a choice, Yeah, I had to finish it. But basically, the coding process was done by me. But at the initial stage, when we were brainstorming, trying to follow up, trying to make it according to what's the specifications and the things that ALX recommended, it's not alone. I wouldn't say it's totally my brainchild. No, we were 2 there. But the coding process took you, so I didn't have a choice.
Amazing. All right. There's always a stereotype around women with tech. Let's call it just STEM generally, science, tech, engineering, mathematics, and all that. That is too tough. And yeah, there's nothing you can do about the underrepresentation at the moment. But just you graduating top of the class, I think speaks opposite to like the stereotype out there. When you are coming into the program, did you have like that fear in you, or you're just like, yo man, who runs the world, girl?
I'll give you a story. When I came in newly, the first time ever I chatted with Mr. Martin, I complained because I noticed they were showing us all our mentors. That was during probation, okay? All our mentors and mentors for cohort this, cohort that. And I went to pick all the mentors. I think there were like 8 or 9 of them. There was only one female mentor, Peter Salim. And I'm like, so I
Amarachi, did I lose you? Is it my network? I just feel like you froze there. Amarachi? Amarachi? Let's try putting off our videos. Are you back? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Don't mind me. Sorry. I apologize for that. It was a network glitch on my side. Really sorry about that.
All right. So we were talking about women. So you reached out to Martin and then you complained.
Yeah, publicly. Like it wasn't even a private chat. I put it there. Oh, so out of all the about 8, 9 mentors, only one woman This is not good though. Terrible. Everybody was like, huh. And then the guys were like, huh, shall we tell her? Shall we tell her? Please. But women are not good in tech. Blah, 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 blah. I just ignored them. So Mr. Martin was like, I like that. You're very observant. I like that. We have every intention to include more women in the, stuff like that. He was being diplomatic, stuff like that. And then one of them actually chatted me up. I'm like, I'm going to report you for bullying. I said, you are trying to bully me into accepting that I shouldn't complain and stuff like that. For crying out loud, I aired my opinion and I have every right. You were there making noise with your friends, and I did not respond because, as far as I'm concerned, I wasn't even talking to you. You don't exist as far as I'm concerned, but you come into my DM. It shows you have too much confidence, and we have to address that confidence. And honestly, I reported him.
Oh wow!
And honestly, I did report him to Martin and to Andrew. But I don't know. I guess they kind of let him off with a warning, like it wasn't necessary, stuff like that. Of course, I knew he didn't do anything terrible. I knew he didn't do anything terrible. It's just to scare him off, I knew they were not going to chase him out of the program or anything of that sort, but I just wanted to scare him. Like, don't come here telling me that. I don't want to hear it. I'm not interested. Okay. So, yeah.
So, what would be your advice? We have a cohort 14, which was only women, and only female cohort 14.
Yeah.
But there are so many subsequent ones. What would be your word of advice, of wisdom to every young girl still in the program? And they're like, oh, okay, only one lady mentor. So many fellow women are falling out of the program. What would be your advice? Think that you graduated top of the class.
Okay, first of all, I hate to put it this way. It was a very good initiative to have an all-women cohort, but I fault how it was executed. And I'll say this. I said this also during our meeting of ambassadors then, and I'm like, you baby these people so much. That by the time if they graduate, that is if they graduate, they are going to be weak. I'm sorry. When it was our turn, you guys just left us in the wild, like, man, fend for yourself, And then it's almost like, oh, baby, don't cry. What do you need? Tell us what you need. Like, no, I'm not doing this. Because I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It took away the whole, and at the end of this, still so many of them dropped out, and all that. And I'm like, look, I understand that you guys are trying to, as much as possible, bring women closer, get more women to do this. I completely get that. But there's a fine line between encouragement and, what I call it, babying people. Okay? You want them to be good stock when they come out. Okay? You want them to be competent. You want them to be people that, can actually go out there. And they'll be like, when they say, I graduated from LX, oh, you graduated from LX, I can see that. Even before you told me, I suspected, stuff like that. But when you now turn them into babies, it's almost like you're begging them, oh, please just graduate, we'll give you a certificate, stuff like that. That's not good. That's not good. It was a good initiative, but I would say that instead of having an all-women cohort, I wouldn't encourage that. I would rather say let there be a support system for women, even within, the normal cohorts with the men and stuff like that. It could be peer learning programs and stuff like that. One thing I know about this library is, no matter how precious something is, if you throw it to people like that, they will most likely not appreciate it. It's going to be like the proverbial, throwing of gold to swine. They're not going to appreciate it. That's how it works. And I believe that's exactly what happened in this very situation. That's just it. So
amazing.
Yeah, I just feel the whole, we want to encourage more women. They kind of overdid it. They overdid it, and the grit was not there. They just wake up, they turn on the system, and they start complaining. I remember one that told me she had an issue, and I was trying to look at her code to find out what's wrong. She told me that she knows the code is correct, that she is sure it is correct, but that it's not executing properly.
The checker is not. The checker is the one that is being unfair.
Exactly. So I was like, wow. okay, you know it's correct. How do you know it's correct? He said, because she has seen it. I said, wow, you have seen it. I was thinking she would tell me, oh, I tried executing it on this terminal and it was working. Let me now ask her whether it's an OS problem or a permission problem, stuff like that. But the confidence was not of this world. Like, it's working. And I was trying to correct her. She said it's working, that she knows that it's correct. I said, okay, good luck to you. You already know it's now. You don't need me. I didn't answer her again. I said, I just told myself, I don't need this. Stuff like that. One even chatted me up and said, hey, that she learned I'm in cohort 9. I said, yeah, I'm in cohort 9. And, they were, I think, cohort 14 or thereabouts. Like, that was my key top username. I'm like, why are you asking? She said that she can't just continue, that she needs to copy to see if she can copy from me. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Madam, your confidence is not of this world. That's just what came out of my mouth. It sure is not of this world. You know, I can take a screenshot of this and report you, and you're done here. Like, you're done here. Kimba will just locate you and go through everything. And that's it. She stopped chatting with me. I'm like, no, this is rubbish. Okay.
I think I get from you is, just going, don't be afraid. Don't feel sick of your femininity now, problem need to be unheld and to be babied into the program. Just face it head on and, I just take it head on, like, it will work out. Because at the end, when you graduate,
it's gonna power you through when things are hard.
Exactly. When you graduate out there, you're gonna be alone. So you need to start cultivating that mindset that, post-program, all these support structures will not be there. So let me start, building my independence this early. That's quite a powerful point. I think you're team VI from the moment you're speaking. I don't think you're team Emacs.
Yes, I'm team VI. Yes, I am.
Man, Amarachi, I think you're just like a fresh of breath air. I've just like really enjoyed this conversation. You don't seem like what you say that, you're an introvert, and it's like you're so bubbly and you are so very expressive and so full of life. So I'm trying to reconcile that with you saying that, you are this housebound person.
Yeah, I would never complain. I would never complain. I go out because I have to go out. Like, you need to go out to survive. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't. That's the truth.
What's your take on the famous Auntie Betty? Is she an absolute witch, or is she a wicked genius?
I would say she's a wicked genius. I wouldn't call her a witch. Okay, because if I look at her as a witch, then I have to fight her. I would like to look at her like one of those wicked physics or math teachers whom, when you look back on, you'd be like, thank God I faced him and I learned a lot from him. But maybe because I felt like I was right under his heels, so I just hated everything about, that's how Betty is. Initially, it's really annoying, it's frustrating, but once you get a hang of it, you have less problems with Auntie Betty. Remember when he had done so much, he was just lamenting on the platform, one of our platforms on Telegram. It was like, this Betty is frustrating my life, blah, 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 blah. Nobody answered. He now brought out one screenshot. What is the meaning of this? I just looked at it. I said, Oga, Auntie Betty say your way no pure. May you go find what you go do with your life. Everybody started laughing on the platform. I was like, your way no pure. Auntie Betty not like you. It takes a while. It takes a while. And then we started making fun of him and fun of Auntie Betty, stuff like that. I remember there was this joke I saw, I think the Nigerian movie, and somebody was talking to somebody, like a lady, and the lady's name is Betty in that Nollywood movie. I was like, you can't do anything, Betty. You can't do anything. I put it to you. You are nothing, Betty. And we just love that meme. Every time I just put it there, I remember I put it on my WhatsApp status. I was like, only LXSC students will understand. You can't do anything, Betty. Betty, you are nothing. I repeat, you are nothing. And then I put it up and start laughing. And it's really something that we use to kind of reduce tension. And sometimes I still go back to it and laugh about it.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, man. I just believe 1 hour has, run by like that. I was like, I really enjoyed it. I was so engrossed in this conversation. I'm just looking like, wow. So many times, like I talk to a lot of software engineers, and it's not easy to find, one who is bubbly and, talkative and,
Yeah, I understand.
and loud and all that. So when I meet one like you, I'm like, wow, all right. This is nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
It has been amazing. It has been amazing, Amarachi, speaking to you. Are people allowed to reach out to you?
Of course.
And I'm gonna warn them, they better come with intelligent questions. And Amarachi is serious on that one.
Please
So
tell
they can reach out to you on where? Are you on LinkedIn, on Twitter? You'll
I'm
share
on
the link and
LinkedIn,
then I'll
I'm on
share with them.
Twitter. Yeah, sure.
All right, you'll share it on email. It's fine. You'll send on email and then I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it out.
Twitter, LinkedIn, sure. Why not? I will, definitely.
All right, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amarachi, for creating time. I now see why all the mentors were like, Amarachi is the one. We need somebody to go to Rwanda, it's Amarachi. We read what? It's Amarachi. I can see that what we talk about, like the talent has to be all round. You have the appropriate communication skills, you have the appropriate presentation, you have the technical skills on point. So it's not only about like just the grades or the paper. So it has been amazing. Thank you so much for creating the time to speak to us. And guys, for all those who have been listening in, I hope you are encouraged and you're inspired by the story of Amarachi. Be intentional about everything. Just be intentional and cultivate the ability to learn. Learn and learn, relearn. That is just it if you want to be successful in the program. Until next time, guys, make sure to follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Substack, on Spotify. And also, we are going to share all the links that you can reach out to Amarachi in case you need to have further conversation. Please come with intelligent questions. Until next time, remember to stay safe and always be